Spiritual awakening is a fascinating journey, a spiral that unfolds within our essence. Imagine each stage as a step leading us to a new understanding of ourselves and the universe. As we advance, transformation awaits, and with each turn, new truths emerge, revealing layers of who we truly are. In the first stage, many live in unconsciousness, where the ego reigns supreme. A reactive life, where thoughts and emotions dominate, creating a maze of illusions. But what happens when this mask begins to crumble? It is in the death of the ego that the true magic begins. The deconstruction of beliefs opens doors to new perceptions, and the observing self begins to separate from the subjective self. Have you ever felt trapped in your own beliefs? Then, the search arises. An intense search for answers that leads us to question everything. What really matters? What is the truth for you? This journey can be lonely, but it is full of discoveries. As the authentic self emerges, significant changes occur. What would it be like to live in alignment with your true nature? And finally, in the stage of life in alignment, interconnection becomes clear. Have you ever stopped to feel this connection with everything around you? Spiritual awakening is a unique journey that each person experiences in their own way. It is not a straight path, but rather a trail full of ups and downs, where each step leads us to a greater understanding of ourselves and the world around us. In this process, we are often challenged to confront our beliefs, values, and even fears. It is an experience that invites us to look inward, to explore the depths of our existence, and to discover what truly moves us. One way to understand this journey is to compare it to the spiral of DNA. Just as DNA expands and develops, spiritual awakening also involves continuous growth and evolution. Each turn of the spiral represents a new understanding, a new perspective that we add to our lives. As we follow this journey, we become more aware of who we are and our role in the universe. It is a process that never really ends because there is always more to learn and discover about ourselves and life. It is important to remember that each of us is at a different stage of this journey. There is no single script to follow, and that is what makes spiritual awakening so fascinating. What may be a major revelation for one person may be just an initial step for another. This diversity of experiences is fundamental because it teaches us to respect each other's time and process. By recognizing that each path is unique, we can cultivate empathy and understanding in our interactions with others. Moreover, spiritual awakening is not something that happens overnight. It is a gradual construction, where life experiences, relationships, and daily reflections play crucial roles. As we advance, we may encounter moments of clarity, but also periods of confusion. It is all part of the journey. Accepting this nonlinear nature of awakening helps us better deal with the challenges that arise along the way. Finally, recognizing that this journey is personal and unique is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. By allowing ourselves to be vulnerable, we open space for true growth. Spiritual awakening is an opportunity to reconnect with our essence, rediscover our dreams, and align our actions with our deepest values. And by doing so, we contribute not only to our own well-being but also to the well-being of the world around us. In the first stage of spiritual awakening, we encounter what is called unconsciousness, dominated by the ego. Here, most people live without true awareness of themselves and their surroundings. They are so immersed in their daily routines and concerns that they barely notice what is happening around them. The ego, which is the part of us that identifies with what we have, with our emotions and thoughts, ends up taking control. This identification is so strong that we often forget who we really are. This lack of awareness brings a series of consequences. When someone identifies exclusively with their thoughts and emotions, they lose sight of their true essence. Life becomes a whirlwind of automatic reactions and responses, where choices are made impulsively, without reflection. Often, this way of living generates a feeling of lack of control, as if we are floating in a turbulent sea, not knowing where we are going. Emotions, at this stage, tend to be intense and often negative. Anger, anxiety, and sadness can dominate daily life, creating a vicious cycle that seems never-ending. People may feel like they are victims of circumstances, without realizing that they are the ones creating these experiences through their reactions. This state of unconsciousness can lead to significant emotional and psychological exhaustion, making life feel like an unbearable burden. It is important to emphasize that this stage is a starting point, a common phase in the journey for many. Ego consciousness is a stage we all need to go through, even if it is not the most pleasant. Recognizing that we are stuck in this state is the first step toward transformation. Often, people only become aware of this reality when they face personal crises, forcing them to look inward and question their beliefs and behaviors. Awakening begins to happen when there is an inner will to change, to seek something beyond the superficial. It is at this moment that many begin to realize that life can be more than a cycle of automatic reactions. This is a transitional phase, where the seed of self-knowledge begins to germinate, preparing the ground for the next stages of the spiritual journey. After the stage of unconsciousness, many enter the phase of seeking. At this moment, an intense urge for existential answers and the meaning of life arises. People begin to question not only who they are but also what they are doing in this world. This desire to understand more about themselves and life in general can be triggered by significant events, such as the loss of a loved one, an identity crisis, or even dissatisfaction with everyday life. During this search, spiritual practices begin to gain importance. Many people turn to meditation, reading books on spirituality, participating in discussion groups, or even seeking mentors. These practices are fundamental because they help expand consciousness and open the mind to new possibilities. Knowledge becomes a powerful tool at this stage, allowing people to explore different worldviews and connect with their essence. It is interesting to note that, at this stage, a significant transition occurs in the perception of the self. People begin to see themselves not only as isolated individuals but as part of a larger whole. This shift in perspective is crucial because it opens the doors to a deeper and more integrated understanding of life. The search for answers becomes an inner journey, where the true essence is explored and recognized. As individuals deepen this search, they also begin to confront their shadows, the aspects of themselves they preferred to ignore. This confrontation can be challenging and even painful, but it is an essential part of the self-discovery process. Facing one's own limitations and fears is an important step in spiritual evolution. By doing so, people learn to accept their imperfections and cultivate compassion for themselves. Finally, this phase of seeking is rich in learning and growth. It is a moment of expansion, curiosity, and connection with what is deepest within each person. Although it can be a stage full of uncertainties, it is also a valuable opportunity to rediscover oneself and align with the greater purpose of life, thus creating a more conscious and meaningful path. In the stage of life in alignment, people begin to experience a significant transformation in their lives. This is a state where the acceptance of personal limitations becomes evident. Unlike previous stages, where the ego dominated and unconsciousness prevailed, there is now a deeper understanding of who we truly are. This acceptance is not a sign of weakness but a sign of wisdom and emotional maturity. Cultivating compassion is one of the most striking characteristics of this stage. People learn to look at themselves and others with more empathy and understanding. This not only improves the relationship with oneself but also transforms how they relate to the world. Compassion becomes a driving force, guiding daily actions and decisions. In this phase, life is lived with more lightness and authenticity. An important aspect of the life in alignment stage is the development of a deep sense of interconnection with the world. People begin to realize that everything is interconnected, every human being, every plant, every animal. This awareness generates a genuine desire to care for the planet and the relationships around them. Daily actions are guided by this connection, and individuals become more aware of the impact their choices have on others and the environment. Alignment with one's essence also brings a sense of inner peace. Instead of fighting against life's challenges, people begin to accept them as part of the process. This acceptance brings immense freedom, allowing individuals to break free from the chains of fear and insecurity. They learn to trust life in the natural flow of things, feeling more secure and balanced. The life in alignment stage is, therefore, a stage of fulfillment and completeness. It is a state where spirituality becomes an integral part of daily life. People live according to their values and purposes, creating a positive impact around them. This phase is not just about self-knowledge but about building a more harmonious world, where compassion and connection with others prevail. It is a journey of transformation that continues to deepen, leading to a life rich in meaning and love.